Hello and welcome back to Aston Martin and welcome to Japan. Yep, it's the race where things have arrived, or thing in particular has arrived. We've got a new underfloor for the final 5 races, and let's say it's going to make a difference. I haven't put it on yet, but I have looked at the comparison. If I hover over the UF3, it doesn't look like it's going to be a massive change. The top speed, notable difference. Bear in mind a lot of these things you put on your cars change things very negligibly. That is a 0.16 kilometer per hour top speed change, and you'll see why that's important. The acceleration only goes from 9.2 to 9.4 G. If I do rank on grid though, yeah, 18th to 40, 0.02 G, 4 places on the grid. Top speed up 3 places. Low speed up 4 places. High speed doesn't change at all for some reason. Medium speed no longer really at the bottom end. Top speed and DRS not the worst, and same with the dirty air across the board, up on all of those. And just remember, 3rd and 6th before this. All 5 remaining circuits are balanced, so getting that medium speed corner statistic out of the mire on both sides of things, just regular and dirty air, kind of probably worthwhile. As you can see, high speed favoured, but medium speed liked as well, along with the acceleration. I should say, I did have to spend £3 million just to make 4 of them for this race. Hopefully that works out by the end of the season, but we do have 25 million in the bank. I'm just kind of not going to touch it now because I don't want to be in the same situation next year as I was this year, where I had no money. We haven't got any hours left, so figured I'll just throw the remaining engineers that were freed up from that to a research project, and it'll make a negligible difference because we've got no more hours on anything. But I will see you for qualifying at Japan, and we'll have a little bit more idea of what that's done to our positionings. Pierre, obviously ridiculous regardless. It's where Mick is in practice, I think, is going to be the main gauge on this one. Well, I did say that Mick's time would be the one that we would use as the barometer, the gauge for where we are right now. That turned out to be the case because Albon left the track and rejoined the track directly in front of Pierre Gasly and crashed into him and ruined his first stint in practice 3, which meant he had to do a full soft stint at the end just to get that acclimatization up to 100%, which meant he didn't do the fastest time he possibly could do. Whereas Mick did actually for once get to do a quick, almost kind of semi-qualifying run at the end of things and got P5. But the concerning things from this session is that Alpine and McLaren seem to still have continued to have stepped things up. Mercedes have seemed to have made a massive step forward as well. So whilst we've made a step forward, so has everyone else. But we do get 15 out of 15. Obviously, the car part knowledge went down a little bit because of the new part, but 15 out of 15 is all that matters. One of the sessions was rain, which is what contributed to Gasly's need for a full stint at the end. But qualifying and the race should be dry. Everyone's got 100%. I do remember to put these on this time. It is obviously worth noting that their best parts aren't exactly superb either right now. I'm not sure. Gasly might need a new something, I don't know, by the end of everything. Provided nobody takes Mick out at any point, I think we're going to be okay with Mick. So I am genuinely excited to see what Gasly can do with this car on an actual qualifying run, because I have no idea where he's going to be. If Mick was 5/10 off the top time in qualifying, in practice, sorry, Gasly's normally about 3 or 4 tenths ahead of Mick. Gasly was hindered on his lap, so that's not fun. Okay, so the first runs across the board seem to be largely carnage. Alonso Bottas seemed to be massively out of place. Sainz obviously massively out of place. Hamilton in 11th behind a Haas. Haas might have stepped things up slightly, but I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people might have been hindered there. Verstappen and Leclerc obviously 7 tenths off Perez as well. I think there was a lot of traffic issues, so I genuinely don't know what to expect now. Duran's ahead of Mick as well, which seems to be unlikely from the practice sessions as well. I think the only people that have actually legitimately in the right place are the top 5. I think they're the only ones that put in the representative laps to what they actually are, and maybe the Hasses as well, and probably the Williamses and Stroll, because Stroll might just be useless still, I don't know. But the AlphaTauris, the Haas, the McLarens, Russell and Perez and Ocon, and maybe Stroll, possibly the only ones who did a normal lap there without any hindrance. But we've got new tyres on both drivers. Seems to be a very abrasive track, this one. One run on soft tyres seems to have taken off a good solid 15%. Okay, so the first car's coming out. I suspect with the pace we've got right now, maybe, the only people we need to be behind again are those top 6. Because it does seem like the Mercs have actually stepped up again to be in that same ballpark. So being behind the Ferraris, the Red Bulls and the Mercs is probably the main thing. Being ahead of a McLaren, being ahead of an Alpine, they're probably comparative. But we've had one of each so far. You know what? Gasly now. There's the last Ferrari anyway. The second I see Gasly leave his pit box, I'm sending Schumacher out as well. I think there might be AlphaTauris on the road ahead of us now. Mick? There you are. Oh, it's crucial we got Mick out when we did because Tsunoda was the next one on track. Okay, so on board with Mick Schumacher. Gasly's the one in danger, of course, but Tsunoda didn't even cross the line in time. Neither did Stroll or the Haas behind him, Magnussen. 3 people didn't cross the line in time. Mick was literally the last one that was safe. Ooh, that was dangerous. But actually, that makes things obviously a lot easier for everyone else because there's only 3 people that are going to put people in danger. Gasly, Alonso and Bottas, who we would all suspect will get out of that bottom 5. Sainz in 15th as well. They're the 4 most in danger drivers now, are the 4 that you would expect to be in the top 10, let alone the top 15. So Zhou, Albon, Vettel, Mick, all got to be careful here. Vettel doesn't improve. Bottas goes to 8th. Sainz obviously improves to 3rd. That's more like it. Magnussen in the bottom 5 now. Zhou and Albon on the cusp. Both Gasly and Schumacher with better first sectors. That's where they got held up, I think. I think it was Russell that held them up. Zhou does improve but doesn't change his position. There goes Leclerc into 5th as well. Albon went up to 11th, I think. There goes Alonso to 8th. Better middle sectors for Gasly and Schumacher as well. That's good to see. Doing a stage 13th. Gasly 9th. That's more like it. Mick ended up 15th but crossed the line 13th. So a much more like it bottom 5 there. Both Haas, both Williams and Stroll. But Merck do seem to have stepped things up. I don't know if Verstappen got another clean lap in there because he's 11th. Perez and Russell, despite doing very well, do have penalties. But both drivers into Q2 for the first time in a little bit. But I do need to put on one of those older tyres. Both Red Bulls are just going our way straight away on that flying lap, so don't expect anything from these. The only advantage is then we got in the way of other drivers as well, so... That being said, there's only a couple of people outside that top 10 that I think will get into that top 10, so Mick in 6th is interesting. Okay, the drivers have started to come out already. We have put the good tyres on, I think. Yes, we have. Just had to double check. I panicked there for a second. You know what? I'm sending Gasly out as early as possible here because I don't want... I mean, admittedly, there was 20 drivers trying to do a flying lap last time round. There goes Gasly ahead of a Merc. But he's behind a Ferrari, is Gasly, interestingly. But it's Gasly that needs to do a cleaner lap. Russell has got really close to Gasly. This is what I didn't want to happen because they'll end up fighting on their lap, maybe. I don't really know why he's caught up. I don't even know why he came out. I'm not going to go on board just because I want to keep an eye on Russell. Keep an eye on Mick's sector time as well. He's behind on the road. Okay, faster first sector for Gasly. Good. Tell you what, if Gasly doesn't get top 10 here, he's taking that gearbox. Faster first sectors for both of them. I mean, as expected, they were on worse tyres. Norris improves to 3rd, 100th off Russell's time. Verstappen doesn't beat Russell's time, interestingly, so Russell, you can back off! Thankfully, they haven't seemed to have fought for position, so we might be all right here. Perez does 6/10 on Verstappen. I don't know, why is Perez so fast? Mick doesn't do a faster middle sector, so that's problematic because he's 10th, now 11th. But Gasly moves up to 7th. Mick just needs to do a better time than Bottas. Which he does. He does a better time than Albon even, actually. Sorry, Bottas actually hadn't crossed the line. Mick's in 10th. Leclerc? Did Leclerc come out again? Leclerc, Hamilton and Alonso didn't come out again. What? Max didn't come out again. That's why he didn't do a better time. Both drivers into Q3 for the first time in God knows how long. Canada, probably. I still reuse those tyres again, just to get the first one in. To be fair with Mick, I'll probably just send him out and then just take whatever time he gets because he's not going to do better. Mind you, I don't think softs are going to be a factor in the race because of how quickly they seem to be going off. So you might as well use them now. The good news is everyone, I think, has already come out, so no hindrances on this first lap. What is got into... Is Perez taken an upgrade that Verstappen hasn't? I should definitely make sure we don't get Russell behind us this time. There's only one Ferrari, one Mercedes, and both Red Bulls. There's a chance at 5th here if the other 4 get their, act together. There's the one Merc. It's the other Red Bull we kind of have to wait for now. Actually, I think we've only had one Red Bull. All right, get our drivers out last, I think, actually. So we didn't get the onboard with Gasly, obviously, in Q2, just because I was concerned by Russell and wanted to keep an eye on that situation. So we'll have his onboard now. Good 40 seconds left of this because there's only 10 drivers remaining. But that Ferrari is miles on the road from the McLaren. But we should assume both Red Bulls, the Merc and the Ferrari will be top 4. So we're kind of fighting for 5th with Gasly, I would imagine. And I'm just hoping Mick beats someone in the end of all this. There's not a lot between him and Bottas. Gasly does a better first sector. Mick doesn't do a better first sector. Mick! Did I change Mick's tyres? Yes. Wasn't 100% certain. How do you do a worse first sector when the tyres go off this quickly and I sent you on bad tyres or used tyres last time? How? How is that possible? Where is the Q2 line, sector 2 line? Somewhere around here, isn't it? On this straight. Better second sector from Gasly as well. Gasly time might be good. Mick's better middle sector is better as well. And that's the longest sector of the three, so it's the one that matters the most. Norris improves. That's not good news. Ricciardo's fourth. That's impressive. Verstappen goes to second as expected. Gasly crosses the line. All three sectors were better. Only seventh. Oh, Mick. Oh, well, he's 10th. I don't know why I'm sad. His sixth place is better than he was last time, so... And do not forget, Ricciardo and Russell... No, sorry, Perez and Russell have penalties. So first and third are out of here. We do not take the penalty on Gasly because he'll start fifth. We just take the penalty if we need it, I think, frankly, with Gasly. Cota's a good one for it because it's a good one to overtake on, as is Brazil with their long straights. Admittedly, there's a long straight here too, but... Tell you what, Sainz was a lot closer to the rest of the field than I was anticipating. We're just waiting for him to cross the line again because he managed to cross the line with a full lap available still to him. Depending on what these penalties are, we might be seeing something kind of special. Yeah, so, to be fair, it's saying soft, medium, soft. Soft, medium is not happening. Let's be real here. Medium hard barely does the job. And bear in mind, we're leaving a little bit of space on those mediums just so we can push him, maybe. Medium hard's apparently the fastest. I wouldn't trust. Obviously, it depends on whether or not there's an incident or what have you, but I don't know if the crashes on Japan are safety car worthy normally. It is fascinating that the strategies always seem to revolve around softs, really, considering how quickly they burned out during qualifying. Because the best softs are always going to be like 90% at best to begin with, and they're going to evaporate quickly. Actually, just so they don't clash, I might actually start Mick on the hards. He starts 10th, and he can hold up Alonso, Hamilton, and Leclerc, who are all behind him, and possibly the other two that are taking their penalties as well. Oh, I haven't done the things.
It's lights out, and away we go.
Sorry, Crofty, it's not quite. I realised as soon as I press go, I hadn't done this. Also, make sure I go and deploy, not harvest. That's always helpful. Lights out and away we go. Perez and Russell's penalties were back of the grid as well. So Gasly starts 5th, Mick starts 8th. He's been taken by Albon. But yes, importantly, Alonso, Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez and Russell somehow didn't manage to get Stroll. He has got Stroll. Are all behind him. Mick on hards in a sea of softs is quite funny. Every other strategy starts on softs, do not forget here. But this is kind of the point. Have Mick in that top 10 and just hold everyone up if he can. He's actually having a go at Albon, which, you know, sort of bless him. Oh, Gasly got Ocon on worse tyres. I'll come back in. There's not really been much in the way of incident. Actually, no, I won't come back in. We'll rewatch this.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Oof, what a break. What a lunge that was. Go on, Pierre. Bottas fighting Norris behind as well. I don't know who was ahead to begin with, so Pierre's a beast. Ricciardo 3rd. Interesting podium place for McLaren right now, considering where they start. And Perez is still only taken Stroll. Why are they struggling? And it's interesting that Alonso's not on the back of Mick either. I don't think I can really push these tyres, but I want to make sure Mick stays within a DRS range of someone. And if we can push to the point where Alonso's not in a second, that would be even better. Oh, I can't deploy for a second lap, obviously. Gotta leave something in the tank. We'll just go aggressive for the rest of this lap and then we'll pull them back. Alonso is now on the back of Mick as well. Ricciardo's out of a second, so he will be easy pickings once we do get DRS activated. In fact, I think I'll take him off his push now. I'll keep the fuel on, but until he's passed, well, we'll take the fuel on until he's minus half a kilogram, as per usual. Actually, don't know where the DRS sets are. I presume on that back straight and on this front straight. But remarkably, Russell hasn't got past Stroll yet. I mean, this is so ridiculous. I'm focusing on it now. Also, because it'll give me an idea where the first DRS straight is. Gasly's struggling to hold on to Ricciardo now. I've taken him off everything else. Someone locked up. Oh, is it Pierre? No. Whoa, it preemptively... I think it preemptively struck with Stroll there as well. But it was doing that went off. It was doing that we were warned about originally, but Stroll went off as well. Because of course he did. That doesn't help, because Durham was a bit of a roadblock for the other two, Hamilton and Leclerc there. Oh, Mick can't keep on... I mean, Mick's on hard tyres. He can't keep on hold of Albon. I might deploy for a lap with Mick, just to see if he can get within a second of Albon. Or actually, do we just not fight Alonso and use him as the split? Just deploy a little bit on this back bit. Stay within a second. Same deal with Gasly. Just make sure he's still in. I think there might only be one DRS straight, actually, in Japan. There we are. Just keep hold of that DRS for an extra lap. And then use Hamilton the next lap, probably. Hamilton and Leclerc are going to get Mick. There's no question about that. But it's all about maximising the amount of time that we don't lose. One of the houses has gone off. Magnussen, I assume, because I can't see him anymore. It'd be fascinating to see what happens with these soft tyres. Because both of our drivers, I mean, in terms of the front one, Gasly's a good solid 10% ahead now. That benefit's going to evaporate. And Mick's still going to be on mediums when everyone else is. So, Magnussen crashed hard enough to actually pit.
The brakes are really poor.
No, Gasly, you are. I mean, unless it resets him, he's out. That's a safety car. It's a safety car. Good job I didn't put new parts on his car, because that might have broken them. How have you managed to crash in such a way that's done that when no one else has this weekend? You're not even pushing. I think that guarantees the new parts next race. We'll watch again, because apparently that's worthwhile. I wasn't expecting that. No one has done that this weekend. They've got off there, but they've not crashed there. Oh, what do I do here? It's not worth new tyres, is it? It's not worth new tyres at all. It's too early for tyres. No one else is going to pit. I mean, there's 2 sets of mediums. I'm just trying to see if it's possible. Two sets of mediums will get you to the end of the race, but it wouldn't be faster. 17 seconds with a virtual safety car, with a safety car. Yeah, it'd be back of the grid. If he pits, he'll be back. If no one else pits, he's back of the grid. I feel sorry for Magnussen, who's just pitted for a new front wing. I mean, he's crashed there hard enough to change his front wing, but Gasly's just out. It's worth knowing, both of my drivers crashed in practices and just damaged their wing, and that was it. So now we have no spare wings. Well, technically, we've still got 1 spare wing because Gasly's out, but we've only got 2 front wings now. No one pitted, did they? No, good. We're good. Magnussen being so far out might actually give us another safety car lap here, which is great news for everything involved. All right, safety car will be in, yeah. I'll wait for the safety car to detach before I change the strategy. Okay, so I think it's attached. There it goes. All right, so we might as well attack for a bit. See if we can get Alonso back or something like that.
No overtaking.
No DRS will help us for another 2 laps, of course, because it means they're not going to have such an easy pass, but we won't be able to keep up as well. So it is a bit of a swings and roundabouts, but everyone's just flying in formation. It was weirdly quiet as well. At the very least, it's removed the 2-second gap that Mick had to Alonso. And bear in mind that Mick was 9 seconds off the leader when that crash happened, and now he's only 2. So, and he's only doing 1 pit stop, don't forget. I'm going to take the tyres off immediately, just because I want to, keep on board here. Let everyone else ruin their softs. That's not what we're here for. We're here to hold up Hamilton and Leclerc, Perez and Russell if they actually get through. This has helped them massively, actually, thinking about it. Mick's having to go with Alonso, I think. Mick might be on the inside of Alonso when it comes to this corner, and he is. So because we're deploying, I think, we've got Alonso back, remarkably. So effectively, if we stay within a pit stop of the leader, Mick's got a very good chance of doing very well here. I do wish he was on the other strategy, but considering he struggled to deal with Albon last time, we'll just suspect he'll fall off Albon as these laps go by. He doesn't pit for another 15. Actually, I'll use energy to defend, I think, actually, is what I'll do. Because that should keep us within range on Albon as well. As long as we keep the DRS on Albon, that could be fun. There we are, so we've still got DRS. Lovely. And those soft tyres will not be having fun soon. In fact, the front runners are probably already going to be starting feeling those effects a little bit compared to Mick. Admittedly, it's only taken about 3 laps for the leader to get about 4 seconds on us, so down to 6.6. Albon takes Bottas in the meantime, so there's been a minor incident, but I think it's the back of the grid. Oh no, it was Ocon, who is still 4th somehow. Oh, Mick, why have you gone stationary? Oh, for pity's sake. Why have you just stopped? Why have you not just continued and tried to rejoin? Oh, for pity's sake. When's the first pit stops for everyone else? It's got to be soon. Ironically, then everyone will end up behind him again. But, oh, we just drive now. Oh, sorry, how has Magnussen overtaken him? I give up. I give up. A, how did Magnussen get past him in the first place? I think Mick is actually good enough to keep going here. Is that a safety car? Oh, at the very least it's a safety car. Yeah, damaged chassis, suspension, front wing's obviously gone, but we do actually still have a spare one of those, thankfully. Pit window's in 11 laps, but I can't do anything about it because he's destroyed those tyres in the process, so fun. We'll go on mediums now. Why not? Obviously he needs a new front wing. Total building time, 30 seconds. But he's behind a safety car, so this will probably cancel itself out a little bit. Yes, he's coming in anyway. And everyone else is pitting as well, so good news. So now he's just legitimately at the back of the grid. He's just at the back of the grid. Everyone else has got a pit stop again. Some people didn't pit at all, which is actually going to really bugger them. Alonso, Leclerc, Verstappen, I think is actually already pitted, but he's just gone on to like already used tyres. Magnussen's actually out. He said he was still actually going when he ran into him. I actually do need to leave him on push until he catches up here, which I think he's about to do. So 1 more lap with the safety car, which is actually really helpful. This leaves our options open if there's a further incident, basically. We can either stop for another set of mediums or we can stop for softs. It's basically what we've done here. Okay, so that's runaway. Alonso's actually leading now. There's always one race where your drivers just decide to be imbeciles. It was Canada in year 1, and it's this race this time. So now it's a recovery drive for Mick, because he has to stop again. So Alonso and Leclerc were doing the one-stop strategy then. Let's see how it works out for them. Bear in mind, Mick has got a little bit of chassis and suspension damage for good measure. He's going to have to fight his way through this field if he's going to get anything out of this. Well, he's got Stroll already. That was remarkably easy. I've taken the push off the tyres already just because it's not worth it. We might as well try and get the most out of this. I do need to set up the two options effectively. All right, so the sweet spot for the medium will be there just to get, you know, the benefit of both. And then the soft strategy would be about there-ish. Apparently 2 mediums would be faster. So we'll go on medium for now. In fact, we'll actually just see if pushing that medium actually saves any time or not. All right, so that's kind of the latest it goes without changing the overall time. So in case there's another incident, that's the latest we can sort of react to it. But bear in mind, those mediums can come in a lot earlier if necessary.
Sorry about the split.
Spud again. If he's hit that front wing, we haven't got any more front wings. We're done. He hasn't hit the front wing, and he hasn't damaged the tyres either, which is probably the most important thing. But yeah, no. To be fair, we probably at this point might as well just retire from the race. The only people having a worse time with things are Alonso and Leclerc, but they don't need to pit again now. Someone's crashed. It's not a safety car, but we will get past him. It's show. I mean, he's back up to 15th temporarily, is Mick. Ricardo's on the fastest lap, meanwhile. Oh, I need to take him off the pushing the fuel now as well. So Mick's catching Stroll at least, and we'll get past him next lap probably. Bear in mind, Mick's got a little bit of car damage, so he's not even the car's not at optimal speed either. Yeah, so he should get Stroll now, has done. But unless about 14 people crash, we're not doing anything. I mean, a bunch of people pitting again. Mick can't get to the end of the race. Okay, so attack these laps until they're like a 40% Mick, and then change. I think this is the point where you pit for another set. Well, the good news is he's come out well ahead of Stroll, so that embarrassment's not continued. We could probably run aggressive to the end of the race. Some people are going to be on softs that are not going to end up well here. Doohan, I think, has to pit again. Yeah, we get past him, at least. The other Williams has crashed. Oh, no, it's Ricciardo that's crashed, apparently. Down to 12th. Oh, Tsunoda did crash as well. So Mick's up to 14th on decent mediums as well. If those softs go off, we might be all right here. Leclerc got to 2nd with that one-stop strategy. I mean, I could push the fuel a little bit for the last couple of laps, but this race became somewhat null and void. Mick went wide, but didn't really matter, I don't think, that time. But he's only got 2 more laps, so I might as well just burn these mediums as best as possible. I think Stroll's done something behind us, because of course he has. Yep. Yeah, apologies. This has been somewhat anticlimactic for what should have been one of the most exciting races of this second half because of the new underfloor. Our drivers decided to be useless. Alonso's going to finish this race with 30% mediums. How he's not just... Like, the only saving grace for Alonso here is the fact that the people behind him's tyres aren't that much better. See if you can get Vel, Mick. I mean, you are homing in on him. I don't really know how you're doing this so dramatically. Vettel's last lap was a 1:33.5. Yours was a 1:33.2 somehow. Your tyres are the same. Let's see if you're just not going to be like an entire embarrassment today, Mick. Oh, for some reason I just flicked to 16%. He didn't get him. I tried to slow it down and it flicked to 1 times already and it went to 16% and missed the end of the race. That sums up this race. Fantastic. What a disappointment. Thank God we didn't really have any streaks on the go. Why are you happy? I mean, Perez and Leclerc, ridiculous. What a waste of time that was. Alonso didn't actually finish 10th in the end, did he? No, Alonso finished 11th. So, saving grace, only one Alpine actually got points there, so still safe there. Mick nearly gets another development point despite everything. Well, he does actually get a development point because of the weekly points. We still need to get braking. Let's improve braking. Yeah, I know we're missing car parts because our drivers are imbeciles. 4 front wings we lost that weekend. 4. Next race is 11 days, thankfully. We'll just do 4 on rush just to make sure we have enough. I need a new chassis as well. Oh, that should get all the car parts. I know it still says missing, but we'll have them in time. A difficult rate, you're telling me. Still on £27 million wise calendar. 2 weeks time, I guess, for the United States. New ATR period after that to do more research. Although I think the first research project that we've got going at the moment ends here. So, and then everything gets locked much later on. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I'm surprised Mick hasn't gained an overall point yet, like an overall to 79, because he's had a few development points and he's not changed his rating overall yet. I don't really know why that's the case, but oh well, Circuit of the Americas. Pierre's going to need new everything, so he's going to be starting at the back of the grid for that one, I suspect. I was going to take those penalties probably anyway, but it was probably only the gearbox I was going to elect to take, but now he's going to have to take a new everything, I suspect. Oh no, actually, he didn't break those, but somehow. Yeah, that gearbox. If he's going to take a new gearbox, he might as well take a new everything, but oh well. I'll see you for the Circuit of the Americas next time. I don't really know what to feel about that. That threw me through the loop. I thought Mick was out for a while, and I thought the video was going to be about 20 minutes long, but oh well. I suspect because we zoomed through the rest of it, it's not going to be that much longer anyway, because there wasn't really much to fight for in the end. Until next time, if you've enjoyed this for some reason, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, ta-ra.